Well, let's see. We've got this. 8 is subtracted from the third of 3 consecutive odd integers. And more information is to find the 3 integers. So why don't we do this? Let's get our x to equal, all right, how about if we let x equal the first odd integer? Then x plus 2 is the second odd integer, and x plus 4 is the third odd integer. Now, remember that this is odd, so the next odd is 2 more. Not just because it's odd. Don't put a 1 and a 3 here. It's odd, so if the first one is odd, the next one is 2 more, right? If this is 9, this would be 9 plus 2. This would be 9 plus 4, right? They always differ by 2. The first one is odd, 2 more. The second one is odd, and 2 more than this is x plus 2 is the third. So these are the odd integers. So it's always, for even and odds, it's x, x plus 2, x plus 4, and so on. Now, we're given some information. It says this. If 8 is subtracted from the third of the 3. Okay, so let's subtract 8 from the third. Here's the third. So let's subtract 8 from that. So here's x plus 4, but we're going to subtract 8 from that. And then it says the result is multiplied by 2. So we're going to take this result and multiply it by 2. So take that result and multiply it by 2. And then what does it say? The answer is, okay, so we got the answer is, now is what? 25 less than. Okay, here's that less than business. So we know that if it's more than, less than, or from, what follows that phrase is where we start. And so less than, here's where we start. The sum, so I'm going to add 2 things, of the first integer, x, and twice the second. Okay, a lot of words, but just do kind of a phrase by phrase. 25 less than, I'm going to subtract 25 from something. From what? The sum of the first, so here's the first, and twice the second, so twice the second, x plus 2, and then 25 less. So what I've got here is 25 less than, right? I'm subtracting 25. 25 gets subtracted from what? The sum of the first and twice the second. So quite a bit of words there, but here's our equation. Let's try to solve it. So let's see. Let's tighten this up a little bit here. What do we get inside there? This is going to be 2 times x. Now plus 4 minus 8 is minus 4. This is equal to x plus, we can multiply through here, right? Multiply through here. We'll get 2x plus 4. And then minus 25. So over here, we're going to get, multiply through, 2x minus 8 equals, over here, how about 3x? 4 minus 25 is minus 21. And now I've got x's on both sides, so I've got more x's on the right side than I do on the left. So I'm going to get all the x's on the right side. Let's subtract these 2 x's. So if I subtract these 2 x's, I'm going to get negative 8 equals, now 3 x's minus 2x is just x minus 21. Very good. Let's just add 21, right? Add 21. We'll get x equals, now, negative 8 plus 21. Or if you like, 21 minus 8 is 13. And what is this? What is x? Follow it all the way back. X is the first odd integer. And sure enough, this is an odd integer. So what's the next odd integer? So we can just tell x is 13, the next one is 15, the next one is 17. So find the 3 integers. There they are right there. 13, 15, and 17. Problem number 19. This is dealing with complements of measures of angles. Now look, here's how this is going to go. If you have an angle, let's draw a line here. If I know this angle right here, if that's, say, x, this one here is going to be 90 minus x. 2 angles through are complementary, add to 90. So like, here's some examples. What about 30 plus 60? That's 90. So these 2 angles, 30 degrees and 60 degrees, those are complementary. 70 plus 20, that's 90. 10 plus 80, that's 90. So if I have x For 1, the other one has to be 90 minus x, right? Because they have to add up to 90. So here's what I know about these two angles. That find the measure of the angle whose complement, so if x is the angle, its complement is 17 times this one. The complement, let's write it. Here's the complement. 90 minus x is 17 times that measure. So there's our equation. So we get 90 minus x equals 17x. Let's get x's on both sides. I'm down 1 here. I'm up 17 here. Let's add x. So we will get 90 equals 18x. So x is, let's divide. 90 divided by 18. That turns out to be 5. And then, what have we got? We want to find both angles. So what is x? X is this one here. 90 minus x, let's write it. 90 minus x, well, that's going to be 90, right? There's x, minus 5. That's 85. So here's our two angles. We've got 5 degrees and 85 degrees. Ooh, it looks like we got a lot of going on in this one. It says the measure of the angle supplement is 10 degrees more than 3 times its complement. Okay, we need to talk about supplements and complements. All right, now we already know this. Two angles are complementary if they add to 90. So if this is x, the complement is, got that backwards, is 90 minus x. Right, these add up to 90. These are complements. And supplements means this. X, they add up to 180. This would be 180 minus x. So these are supplements. So complementary angles add up to 90, and supplementary angles add up to 180. Now here's what we know. The measure of the angle supplement, okay, the measure of the angle supplement. So if we let x be the angle, the measure of the angle supplement is 10 degrees, there's that more than. So here's where we start. More than 3 times its complement. So here's the complement, 90 minus x, and we want 3 times that, 3 times the complement. So we're going to be looking at 3 times the complement. But what we have then is what? 10 degrees more than that. And what is that? That's the measure, all that, that's the measure of the angle supplement. So the measure of the angle supplement is 180 minus x. So I've written it backwards here, but it works. The measure of the angle supplement is 10 more than 3 times the measure of the complement. There's our equation. Let's see if we can solve it. So that's going to give us, now, if I add that, I'll do it up here. 280 equals 180. And now what have you got? Negative x, and we're going to add 3, so that takes us to 2x. Now let's subtract this 180. So we'll get 280 minus 180. That takes us down to 100. That's equal to 2x. Divide by 2, we'll get x equals 50.